Alright, I'm going to make this quick and dirty. This is going to be a video response to my own video for the morality is objective, mine done with the 3 question marks at the end of it. I'm just doing this with my webcam to knock this off really quick. A lot of people seem to be thinking that when it comes to objective versus subjective moralities, I don't think that they are entirely understanding the difference between those two. Objective morality would mean that it comes from a higher power, that there is a set standard that already exists, and that predis- we have a predisposition to adhere to it. Whether we choose to follow that predisposition or not is entirely up to us. That is the gist of an objective morality. It would mean that we are not taught anything about moralities. Would mean that it is just inherent within each of us. Gibberish. That's garbage. Now, subjective morality means that those moralities come from within us. We would use our own experiences, our thoughts, our views of the world to help us in making our decisions based on uh, the best outcomes versus the worst outcomes. A subjective morality means that we use what was taught to us. It is actually the most intellectually honest route to take, is to follow your subjective reasonings. And that's how you deal with everything in your life. There is no objective that it already came out of nowhere, that it just automatically existed. That's ridiculous to think so. Here's something that you need to consider. Now, I think a lot of us can agree that pack animals, whether predator or prey item, such as like hyenas, uh, uh, lions, and wolves and stuff, to mention the predator types, have a cooperative coexistence, that they help each other out for the benefit of the entire community. Now, same goes on the prey side of that. When you're talking about caribou or elephants, giraffe. Well, not giraffe. They're very small. Um, Buffalo, and so on, as well as like zebras and what have you. That they depend on each other for survival. Now, one would not call that morality, but one could call that a trained cooperative existence. Um, it is not unlike the way humans interact with humans. Uh, we find that our successes coincide when we have a better relationship with others. Um, and we also find that the more negative we are, the more ruthless that we are, that the more often we have failures. Now, again, there are exceptions to every rule. You can have an asshole who made it into a millionaire. But you can also find that the happier people are the ones with the most friends, that they have the highest cooperation. Think about it. Your moralities are based on your own experiences and are based on how you react with those around you. Um, this is really something to think about. It was said in one of the messages I got on my other video when it was talking about how a good example of what an objective morality would be is how we would all look at sexual child abuse. Well, yeah, based on our experiences, we would find that that is a major bullshit thing to happen, and we take care of that accordingly. Um, why is it subjective? Well, because kids who are abused can often lead to becoming more disruptive members of society because of the torment that was put on them, because it causes problems in that society. Overall, because of what does that kid turn into. So it is in our best interest to make it so that that kind of stuff does not happen, not because it was just something inherent out there. That's something that you have to consider, is that the subjective rules on this all coincide with what is issues that happens when we neglect these kinds of things. Something else to consider on this, going back to my animal analogy, you can call it a straw man if you want to, but the fact of the matter is that it still follows through with relationships, period. I think it's called a pod of elephants, kind of like with whales. When young males, start to reach adolescence and go into something called musk, they are actually driven off by the matriarch of these pods. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but you guys get the idea. And the reason for that is because it disrupts the harmony within that kind of group. Not unlike how when we have assholes in society who screw things up for the majority of us through murder, theft, and so on and so on, then what do? We lock them up. We move them away from us. Why? Because the alternative is to continuously put up with that kind of bullshit, which pretty much hurts us all. Anyway, that is to sum up the differences between subjective and objective morality, as well as to show how these subjective moralities, if you will, also exist in nature, to where it is very doubtful, very unlikely that these ones that are proving that their better success rates are by a cooperative means, depending on the groups of animals, of course, shows that moralities are taught by others and our own experiences. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm going to cut it off there. Somehow Magic. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.